Module 6, Lesson 6, Scatterplots. We're going to start to look at scatterplots today, and scatterplots are just where you have two pieces of information that you gather and you graph those. Usually the graphs do not form a perfectly straight line with real-life data, but we're looking to see if they form a line or some type of curve, if it's an increasing or decreasing, positive or negative pattern, and some things like that. So let's take a look here. First of all, let's define bivariate. So we see the word here, bivariate. Bi means two, and variate means variables. So it means we have two variables. So we're collecting two pieces of information about something. In this first example here, you'll see that they collected the weight and the fuel efficiency for 13 different kinds of cars. So X is the weight and Y is the fuel efficiency. And that could be interchanged. Y could be the weight and X could be the fuel efficiency. That doesn't matter. It depends what you're looking for, what you're trying to find from what. So here's the table of information. We're going to answer a few questions about this. Question number 1. In the example, the observation corresponding to model 1 of 3,200, 23 means what? So what's the fuel efficiency for this car? Well, the fuel efficiency is the second number, which is the 23. So 23 is the fuel efficiency. And then what will be the car's weight? The first number, the X, is the car's weight. All right, question 2 is asking us to add the points from the scatter plot. I'm going to pause it for a second while I do this. We are going to be doing this in class using our graphing calculators, but I'm going to pause it just to show you what this looks like here. All right, so here is the points plotted in the scatter plot with weight on the x-axis and fuel efficiency on the y-axis. So we can see the points. Now, I have a question. Why would we plot weight on the x-axis? How would we know to do that from the way this table is set up? Well, our weight is always, our x is always in our first column, which is where the weight is located. Our y is always in the second column. So looking back to our graph, do you notice a pattern in the scatter plot? Well, what we're looking for is, do the points follow some type of shape? And I would say yes to that, because I notice that the points go from the beginning clear at the top closer to the middle or the bottom towards the end of the weight category, of the weight side. So what does this imply about the relationship between weight and fuel efficiency? It implies that there's some type of connection between them. There's some type of correlation, is another word to say it. What we're going to say here is, as weight increases, as the weight goes up, the fuel efficiency comes down. So it decreases. So as weight increases, fuel efficiency decreases on the graph. Now eventually we're going to actually draw the line. It's called the line of best fit, and we'll calculate what the equation is for that line, but we'll do most of that work on the calculators, using the calculator. So, all right, next we're going to have two more definitions here, or I don't know if you call the one a definition, but a pattern in a scatter plot includes or indicates that the values of the variable tend to vary in a predictable way. So as one variable changes, you can tell what's going to happen to the other variable. As one variable goes up, what's going to happen? Is the other variable going to go up or down? This is called a statistical relationship. So a statistical relationship is simply a pattern in the scatter plot. The other thing here is, it's very important to understand that you don't jump to conclusions. We don't want to think that increasing the weight of the car causes the fuel efficiency to go down. It may be something else that causes the fuel efficiency to change. So we can't say that weight causes the fuel efficiency. So we don't want to have that causal relationship there. So you cannot conclude that changes in one variable produce changes in the other variable. Okay, changes in one variable do not produce a change or do not cause a change in the other variable. Okay, we cannot say that one variable changes causing the other variable to change. Okay, one does not cause the other, period. All right, last two I'm going to do with you, numbers 9 and 10. Data was collected on shoe size and reading score on an ability test. And for 29 elementary students, this Scatterplot shows that data. They want to know, first of all, does there appear to be a statistical relationship between shoe size and score on a reading test? And as it appears in the data, it does seem that the data goes from the lower left-hand side of the table to the upper right-hand side of the table. So we're going to say, yes, there is a relationship as shoe size increases. It looks like the reading score increases. Now, the second part to this says, explain why it is not reasonable to conclude that having big feet causes you to have a high reading score. Well, the large feet aren't what cause you to have a high reading score. Probably practice, and as you grow, you are being able, a fifth grader can read better than a first grader. So the probable explanation is because they are practicing more and learning more as they go through the elementary years. So can you think of a different explanation? Probably as they get older, they can read better. They have better reading skills. So again, one variable changing does not cause the other variable to change, even if there is a relationship between the two.